Hello, friends. I am Phill Nosworthy, and I'm absolutely thrilled to be here with you today, albeit via video, at this magnificent conference event. Juice Plus family, I believe in what you do, and I really do honor the value you create for your families and the communities that you serve. It's for that reason that when Celine asked me to contribute to this great event here, I just jumped at the opportunity. But not being able to be with you in person and together with your leadership group, we instead built a plan for bringing you a series of insights that I have seen unlock the potential of countless leaders and high performers around the world. Now, that plan includes clearly a couple of insights here today, but a whole host of insights to follow this conference event. First, a little bit of context, okay? My work is with senior leaders of some of the greatest companies on earth. Companies like Microsoft, the Boston Consulting Group, Universal Music, Oracle, and here in Australia, the AFL. And working shoulder to shoulder, even knee to knee, with so many great leaders, it's shown me a few things. But perhaps the thing that sticks in my mind the most, as cliched and trite as it sounds, is that they really are not so different than you or I. Yes, these are extraordinary leaders. Yes, they may have teams in the hundreds, and sometimes they do have budgets that resemble the turnovers of small nations. But you know what? When we are in private conversation, those conversations are not dissimilar than the ones that you and I would have if we were to have dinner over the weekend. They are the thoughts of contribution and service, and also inadequacy and family and our fears for the future. I have traveled the world. I've shared my thoughts in more than 75 cities and 50 countries. I'm honored by that, and I'm grateful for that. But regardless of who I speak to, I just find the same thing. I find humans trying to figure out what to do with this precious life that we each have. And that's why I'm so convinced that each of us comes into the world with an innate genius that is waiting for us to unlock. It is full of wild potential for growth and contribution that is waiting for us. And so in so many ways, that's what I want to connect with you about here right now. And yes, in the weeks and the months to come. Right here, right now, for just a few minutes, I want to share some simple insights that I hope will serve as an invitation to you to think more deeply with me about what it would take for you to do the best work of your life. After this video and in follow-up to the event, Celine and the team, they're going to be sharing details with you for an extraordinary online program that will have you reflect and go to higher levels of personal leadership than perhaps you've ever experienced before. Do me a favor, finish that program, because by doing so, you will instantly be invited to a very exclusive digital session with me where we can interact directly with each other, ask questions, and chase the kinds of insights that give you the courage to step into your highest potential. Now, I don't know who you are at this stage. We're going to get to know each other, but I hope that sounds like a good idea for you. For now, let's set the scene for our work together in the weeks and the months to come. I know that so much of our growth and success is contingent on self-awareness. Knowing yourself, it is central to our ability to influence and impact others and to create the lives that we see for ourselves and our families. The rationale, of course, is simple. You can't lead and influence and impact others if you can't lead and impact and influence yourself. It makes sense, right? How would you ever lead and influence what you don't understand? And so then we know from research that self-awareness is essential to your development and growth in life. In fact, the more you know about yourself, your predispositions, your motivations, your capabilities, the more intentional you can be in choosing what to focus on and how to spend your time in a quest to serve and impact others. Study after study shows the same thing, that people who are self-aware, they are more fulfilled, they have stronger relationships, they're more creative and confident, they're even better communicators. People who are more self-aware, they perform better at work, they get more promotions, they are more effective at influencing the choices of others for good. Here is the truth. If you want to impact the lives of others, you're going to need to be deeply aware of who you are. But my friends, as wild as it is to say, I'm afraid to say that most people have very little insight into who they are. And I'm not just being dramatic here. The University of North Carolina proved it. You see, in a study, a huge study that evaluated more than 350,000 people from around the world on the idea of how accurately we know ourselves, the results were not encouraging at all. They found that on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being very low, meaning you don't know who you are, what you want for your life, or how you're showing up today, and 10 being the opposite, meaning you do know yourself, you know yourself inside and out, along with the ways that you impact others. On that 1 to 10 scale, the average of all respondents was a 3. Now, I don't know where you or I would land on that scale, but I think you would agree with me that there are always opportunities to level up in what we know about ourselves, and in doing so, enhance our readiness for growth and change. Now, that's always been the case for humans. I mean, thousands of years ago, at the entrance to the Temple of Apollo, a place where the ancient Greeks would come for guidance and answers on how to act and live, carved into the stone there were the words, "Know thyself." That was the advice then, and it continues to be the advice now. We've got to know ourselves. But I know this, in knowing yourself and taking the time to push past those superficial layers and into the wild depths of our inner landscapes, we also and instantly position ourselves for growth and change and transformation. That's what we're curious about. This is wonderful news. And so I want to work to the assumption right now that you are familiar with the Stanford psychologist Carol Dweck and her seminal work on the growth mindset. And if you're not, here's a crash course. The concept is this, that your potential and your skill in life, they are not predetermined. Isn't that good news? They're not fixed. Isn't that good news? Your potential, your skill in life can be grown with effort and attention. In the volume of how much you might have heard about this idea or ideas like it, you might have fallen for the unfortunate scenario of forgetting just how remarkable that insight is. It sounds so simple, but it is extraordinary. Let's say it again. With effort and attention, growth is inevitable. It is unavoidable. How extraordinary. I mean, in a life filled with so much uncertainty, it is incredible to know that in just about anything you commit yourself to, if you do the work, then you will grow. But the same body of knowledge, the same research also shows that if you wait for the change to occur by itself, well, you might be waiting quite some time. You see, while growth is wildly within reach, it's not automatic, is it? It's not a factor of age. It's not even a factor of reading. It's not even a factor of experience. I mean, if it were, well-read people who were a little older in age would be unstoppable. They would be walking icons who never put a foot wrong. But alas, it's just not always the case. You and I both know fully grown people whose walls are lined with certificates that still make more errors than they should, or worse, leave trails of human destruction behind them wherever they go. You see, growth is not automatic, and growth is not the same as knowledge acquisition. Let me say this again, knowledge acquisition is not growth, and how important an observation that is in an event like this one. Just consider how much you know that you do so little with. I mean, if I was the walking embodiment of everything that I knew, my goodness, wouldn't that be something? But I'm not defined by what I know. Instead, I'm defined by what I do with what I know. And so as we begin our conversation together, and even in an extraordinary event like this, I want to ask, what is the knowledge that you are acquiring, but what are you going to do with it? And perhaps even more importantly, what do you already know to do that you're not currently putting into action? Remember, the theme of this event is the power of now. What do you already know to do that you might put into practice immediately? You know, that question matters a lot. Just in case we mistake knowledge acquisition for growth. For instance, and by example, we might read 1,000 books and not grow. Or we might take one simple reflection each day, one insight, one kernel of knowledge, go and put it to work and grow because of it. This event today has asked us all to challenge ourselves, and it will continue to ask you to challenge yourself to understand the power of now. But that means becoming a learn-it-all and not just a know-it-all. The growth and transformation that you deserve, that you aspire to, the growth and transformation that you see for yourself is within reach. But it is essential that we recognize that growth will not come by any other means than by putting what you know into action. But you know what? In saying this, and sometimes even armed with knowledge and passion about the change we wish to make, we still don't change. Have you ever noticed that? I want to ask, why is that? Well, I have learned that when it comes to leveling up and changing the way we work and even who we are, that 3 things are vital and necessary. 1, you need the knowledge and skills to make change. 2, you got to want to change. You got to plan to change. But 3, you've got to know something. You got to have something known as self-efficacy. You've got to feel like the change you are making is possible, that you are capable of making that change, and that your effort would be worth it. And this is the bit that I want to hone in on and leave you with, because when it comes to making change, becoming something that we've never been before, most people turn to a familiar internal friend called confidence. Think about it. When you're faced with a new challenge or a moment that matters, it's confidence that you call on, isn't it? I'm sure that your friends and family have even told you before, don't stress about what you're working on. Don't worry about that great opportunity. Just be confident. Go and do that hard thing. But the problem is, confidence, that's a terrible friend. Confidence is an emotion that you feel. And like other emotions, it has a habit of coming and going in unpredictable ways. I mean, have you ever noticed it? Confidence seems to be there when you least need it. And at times you could really use some confidence. It's nowhere to be found. And that's a problem, especially for something that so many people tell you that you need so much. You just need to be confident. Just be confident. That's what they say. But I'm not convinced that confidence is that valuable or necessary. Plus, when we say we want to feel confident, really what I think we're saying is that we want to feel comfortable, or at least we are noticing in those moments how uncomfortable growth and change and performance can feel. You know, when you're out there on the edge of your performance capacity, doing new things that you've never done before, you feel uncomfortable, right? Standing in front of a group, sharing your thoughts, uncomfortable. Speaking up and sharing your unique genius, uncomfortable. But that's the center of the illusion. And it's the confusion that so easily surrounds confidence. You see, mistaking confidence for comfort, that's a mistake, because comfort, like confidence, is only ever built through repetition. I mean, the more you do something, the more comfortable you are when you do it. And that's what most people are thinking of when they use the word confidence. Comfort, like confidence, comes from doing the same things over and over and over. But what you and I both understand about growth and progress for where you are going is that that growth is going to come from doing new things. So in this fast-paced world, understanding the power of now, it absolutely stands to reason that many professionals feel nervous a lot of the time because they are on the constant edge of change. New products, new markets, changing contexts, new platforms, new rules, new ways of working. In a scenario of constant change, you dare not rely on confidence. And how wild of us to ask confidence of ourselves if we are constantly and always doing new things. You see, it's not confidence that you need, my Juice Plus family. It is courage. Courage leads to action when we are feeling unsure and nervous. The more unsure you feel, the less predictable the outcome, the more new the situation, the greater the courage asks of you. And so this is the grand twist in the narrative. When it comes to growth and performance and impact and making change, if you feel a little nervous, good. It means you're doing something new. It means you're doing something that stretches you, something that is changing you and making you bigger than who you were yesterday. Plus, what I have learned is that we don't get nervous about things we don't care about. So don't pull back. Don't shy away. Don't retreat. Be bold in all that you're pursuing because God knows you are here to be extraordinary. Whew. And so with that, I want to wish you an incredible conference event. And I want to invite you to join me on a wild learning journey that I have seen transform the lives of countless people all across the planet. In the days following this event, you are going to receive an email from Celine and the team sharing details of how you can join my Convergence program. Join that program. Follow through, complete it, use the journal, use the video resources, read the book, use the conversation guides in that extraordinary program, because just by completing it, you'll be gifted a ticket to an exclusive learning experience with me live. In that live experience, we're going to chase insights to unlock your highest potential. I so believe in you. I so believe in what you're capable of. Have an amazing conference, Juice Plus Tribe. See you all very soon.